Okay, Ten. I guess the first question is about Tuesday. A hugely enjoyable game to play in, I'd imagine.
Yeah, 100%. I think we all were buzzing for it before Tuesday night and up for it, and I thought we played proper well and got the result we deserved. So yeah, but on a personal note, it's always good for me. You know, I feel like in general I've got a point to prove, but even more so on Tuesday night.
You didn't score, but you were a big part of the goal, and a lot of people are giving you credit and props for that as well. So you must be delighted.
Yeah, 100%. You're talking about it before and just saying how good Matty is at being in the right place at the right time. So yeah, it kind of happened very quick. Like the ball just came across. I think my touch was a bit loose, took it behind me, and then I spotted Matt, and then he got me out of trouble.
Do you feel in many respects it was, we were talking just before we started recording, and he said I think it was your best performance this season. Is that how you feel about your performance?
Yeah, I find it quite hard to be fair. Looking back, definitely one of the most enjoyable I've had, and I was pleased with how I done. But I think when you're in football, especially me, I'm quite critical of myself, so I'm always nitpicking at what I could do better. And there's other games where I thought I've done well and same I could have done better. But yeah, I definitely say it's up there with one of my better performances.
And when we spoke last time, I don't know if you remember, we talked about Peter Kioso and the way that you'll help each other develop, you'll help each other get better. And it's really interesting because he said exactly the same to you when we talked to him.
Yeah.
You're both saying exactly the same thing about each other, and there's clearly, from the way you've spoken about each other, a mutual respect between you.
Yeah, 100%. Off the pitch, I think rightly so, people like in general have like kind of that what's the word? They assume that like you're gonna be worst of enemies, and because you're in the same position fighting for the same spot. Don't get me wrong, I guess sometimes that's right, but me and Pete get along really well. Like we're really good off the pitch, really good friends. We're same with everyone in the group really. But that ties into us learning from each other. Off the pitch we'll talk about football. On the pitch I'll watch what he does, and he watches, well, I think he watches what I do. But yeah, in general, I think it's a great thing to have, like I said previously. And yeah, hopefully that comes to fruition a bit more.
Have you ever experienced an atmosphere like you did on Tuesday night?
Not quite the same. I think just it being a derby game in general is a different atmosphere. I think I've played before in games where there's a lot of noise, a lot of fans, things like that, but it just felt a bit different.
The side are continuing to show their promise with regards to the playoffs, and that victory took you back into the playoff places. A big step forward.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's moments in seasons where it kind of shows what you're about, and it shows what the group's about. And I think it was important to make that statement and to get the win. And yeah, I think we're all as a group on the same page and still pushing for our main goal.
I'm going to ask you a question. You don't have to necessarily talk about this, but it's about the transfer window, and I've asked players that have come on previously, players like Harry and Peter as well, who's been on in recent weeks, just about the noise, because there is so much noise going on with the transfer window, and associated with MK Dons players as well. The likes of the aforementioned Matt O'Reilly. Do you just, how do you deal with all that? Do you talk about it amongst yourselves, or is it kind of blanket out completely?
You kind of just blank it out really and concentrate on the job at hand. I think that's the main thing. I think in general football's like that. There's always noise, there's always distractions, always things around. But that's the aim of the game really, to stay focused and continue doing what we're doing.
A great game on Tuesday, and it doesn't get any easier because Portsmouth away, another side that are challenging for promotion this season, looking up, the top end of the table, and a difficult place to go and play football.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully another good atmosphere and something where the boys can get round each other like we normally do and produce a performance. I think again, it's another moment for us to make a statement, and ultimately get the win.
And in truth, this season, you've gone to Wigan and got a victory. You've gone to Sheffield Wednesday and perhaps should have got more than you got that night. So, you know, clubs that are theoretically bigger, you know, in stature and history, doesn't have any relevance really for MK Dons, because you guys have proved you can do it.
100%. And I think that's a great thing about this group as well. It's kind of like a name or a badge or whatever is associated with a club isn't going to phase us as a group. You know, there's another 11 players out there on the pitch, and we get on with that and try and do our job.
Cheers, man. Nice one.
Cheers.
As much as players say they love playing in cauldron-like atmospheres like he's probably going to get at Fratton Park tomorrow, Liam Manning said it a few times to us that silencing those fans probably helps you guys. I mean, how happy does that make you when you go to places like that and just shut them up completely, or sometimes even turn the fans and get them on the home team back?
Yeah, it's one of the best things, really. I think it helps in the game. You know, like when you haven't got fans behind you, it's hard. So that in general helps, and two, it's satisfying to know that you've you shut them up a bit.
Yeah, well, I bet they'll certainly come with a boisterous atmosphere tomorrow. And it's been a place that Dons have struggled to try and get a result. But, you know, the performance earlier this season against Portsmouth, it might have been backs to the wall for a little bit. But, you know, that was a start of showing that MK Dons were on the turn and potentially were those playoff contenders that you are now.
Definitely. I think I would agree. You know, it's a hard place to go to. Anywhere with an atmosphere where the fans are behind the team is a hard place to go to, especially when the team is a good team. You know, the players are good there. But I think the key is looking at ourselves and what we've, you know, I know we're only halfway through the season, but what we've achieved so far and how capable we are as a group. And there's no reason fans, atmosphere, or any of their players, you know, should phase us if we do our part.
It's been a funny start to the year, hasn't it? You know, albeit with 2 draws in the league and then a win. It felt like a little bit of a barren run. I mean, that's great. It's great, isn't it? For everyone to think that, you know, picking up 5 points out of 9, that's a barren run.
Yeah, I think that's when you set your expectations high, and it's definitely a good thing. And we're aware as a group that, you know, spells come, spells go. You have ups, you have downs. It's not, you know, a straight line to success, which is what we're aiming for. So yeah, you just take it and roll with the punches and keep going.
And just finally, it's going to be the 3rd goalkeeper in a row now that you're going to be playing in front of tomorrow, assuming that Jamie comes in and gets that start straight away. As a defender, does that change the way you play with a different goalkeeper behind you, or is that just, you know, just the nature of the way you train? You just know that there's a guy with gloves behind him.
A little bit, but I don't think it changes the way you play necessarily. I think it's just about establishing a relationship. But like I said, I feel like this, well, speaking from experience, this group is welcoming and it's easy to settle into. So I think it won't take him long to settle in and build those relationships. And we train in a way where everyone kind of knows their role within a system, knows what to expect to the person beside them, in front, behind. So yeah, I don't think it will be too much of a difference.